Hi Disney friends, it's Amber with MickeyTravels, and I'm back to share with you some of the cool things that I brought home with me from my trip to Disney World this July. So this is going to be a two-part episode. I'm going to have inexpensive and cheap things that you can bring home as souvenirs from Disney World, and then I'm going to do a Disney World haul and share with you what I brought home. And I have collections, so I tend to focus on certain things when I am there. A lot of Haunted Mansion stuff to share with you, and then the rest of my items are just things that I will use in my classroom, as I'm also a teacher. So let's start with some of the inexpensive things that you can get from Disney that's either free, included, or very inexpensive to bring home with you. Because Disney can tend to have so much merchandise and it's overwhelming, and you just don't want to spend your money on that. There are some things to consider that are very inexpensive that are easy to bring home with you, and you can take all of that and turn it into something memorable, such as a collage of some of the items that you have with pictures, or you can keep a Disney World box full of a lot of the mementos that you brought home with you. So let's start with your resort. We stayed at the Art of Animation, so we keep everything that we get from Disney, including stickers when we enter the parks, any buttons that we get, and also our documents from our trip. So here's a lot of the information that we picked up while we were at the Art of Animation or at various Disney parks. And of course our magic bands are going to be included in that. You do get to keep these, and anytime you do go to Disney you do get a different one. So if you're going to be going often, you could try to get every color if you want. So this is something that obviously it came with it, but we already knew about those. Our reservation packet that we got in the mail before we arrived. And then some of the documents that were in our room. A map of our resort. Pretty cool. And then information about all of the parks, and everything is very colorful and interesting, so you can take it apart and use what you need to in your collage if you're making a frame. We had brochures from the parks, and because we were at Disney when there was a special event, we picked up lots of Frozen Summer Fun information. Because if you are attending when there's something new or different going on, it's going to be very limited. So you may want to try to pick up as much stuff from that as possible, because it may not happen again. We were told that they extended this through September, so here's hoping that you guys, if you are traveling in the next few months, you'll get to see this. It unfortunately rained while we were at Hollywood Studios, so we didn't get to experience a whole lot of that, but we could see the fireworks from our resort. So I've heard from numerous clients that that is the best fireworks show at the Frozen Summer Fun. This is the cool folder that everything came in our room. Times for attractions at all the parks while we were there. Our dining brochure. Information about My Magic Plus and the Fast Passes. So you get the gist. A lot of cool paperwork and documents that you can use in any type of memento package. And even some of the dining locations you go to, if they have menus that you can take home with you, that might be something to consider. At Sci-Fi, we were able to get our little driver's license, and we got to, because we dine in cars while you're there, so it's really cute that we get to keep that and put that in our little box. Also in our room, of course, there are the standard hotel items that lots of people like to take with them, including the soaps and shampoos, and they do have Mickey ears on them, and our H2O products, and you have facial bars and body soap along with the shampoo and conditioner. So it is customary that you tip mousekeeping, and if you are polite to them, of course, they're going to allow you to take some of these home. So that's something to consider as well. Also at your resort, if you are doing the dining package, you get the free mug, resort mug, that you can refill at your resort for free at any time. If you're not on the dining package, you can purchase this. So we got to take that home too. And they had all the same designs on the mugs, just different color lids to choose from. You can actually fill these up at any resort, not just the one you're staying at. But in the parks, you are not allowed to get the free refills with them. You can bring these in and fill them up with the sodas that you purchased there, you just can't get them for free. I recommend it if you have children and you know they're going to be purchasing a lot of items at Disney, that you set them a budget, and an easy way to do that is with a Disney gift card, and they can be the one in charge of this and decide what they're going to spend their money on. The cool thing is that you get to keep these, and there are various designs and characters, and so some people do collect just the gift cards. And so that's, again, something you can keep afterwards to put in your memento box. Besides the park maps and the brochures, which yes, they're free and they may not be cool souvenirs, but if you can be artsy craftsy and make something into them, that's pretty cool afterwards. We also went and tried the Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom, my sister and I, and we got our key that we held up to the screens and then the different cards. This is free. It is located in the firehouse at the Magic Kingdom, and they can sync it to your magic bands, which is pretty cool. But you have a series of locations you have to go to. I believe we had Adventureland and Fantasyland. We didn't have a whole lot of time to try these out, but the cards themselves are free. You can only get one per day, and if you come back and try to get another pack, they have to check to make sure you were playing to get them. So these are pretty cool to keep too. And here's what the map looks like. They have the locations of where the screens were to hold up your cards at. So Fantasyland, Main Street, Adventureland, and Liberty Square all had adventures. So if this is something, if you're a Disney veteran and you just want to try to find something different, I recommend doing this. It is very time consuming. If you're doing a really fast trip like we were unable to take advantage of this, but next time we will. One of my other videos I shared that I would be pin trading. We did a little bit. We took it to Epcot and had some luck there with some of the World Showcase cast members because, again, it was raining a lot while we were there and we had an agenda. We wanted to make sure we got to certain attractions, so this was not a priority for me, but I did pick up 3 cool pins. 4, actually. If you saw my previous video, I am a Figment fan, and I collect a lot of Figment pins, and I was able, because I hadn't been when some of the new ones came out, I was able to find some. I had found the completer for the Figment pin series that I had a while ago. Here's Figment on the Epcot ball, and I had this one, and they had the non-color version as well. And I also found the wardrobe from Beauty and the Beast. This is a rack pin, which is a pin that you actually buy, and this was on a cast member. So this was free. All I had to do was trade to get this pin. And this pin, not only because Beauty and the Beast is my favorite movie, but on this trip we got to try Enchanted Tales with Belle for the first time. And so this kind of correlates with our trip. So those were the only pins that I traded for. I did have a Star Wars one that I traded for that I gave to my mom because she is a huge Star Wars buff. On my bucket list was to try LeFou's brew while we were in the new Fantasyland, and I wanted to make sure that I got the mug that came with it. There are various attractions that do have collectible mugs, and if you are on the Disney dining plan, you are able to purchase the drink with your dining credit, and then you can just pay out of pocket for the mug that comes with it. I know Be Our Guest has a light up mug. I believe the Pineapple Whips have a tiki mug that come with it. But this one I wanted because, of course, Beauty and the Beast, my favorite movie, but Gaston and LeFou were both on it. Awesome. Not dishwasher safe, so you have to be careful. Check all those when you purchase them. Probably one of my favorite things we did this time that we've never done before was we were going to try to get a lot of the pennies because those are very inexpensive too. And essentially you pay 51 cents, 2 quarters and a nice shiny penny. And I got a ton, and my mother turned it into a bracelet for me. Here's a little video clip of some of the pennies I got zoomed in. But again, they're everywhere, and the guest services does have maps to where those locations are. However, we found out that a lot of the maps were outdated, so we just went and searched ourselves. If you have favorite attractions, just check in the gift shops at the end of those. Or if you have favorite characters, those are the ones that are scattered throughout. And it's kind of like a game trying to find your favorites. But we were lucky enough to find some Frozen characters, and of course we were able to get some from my favorite attractions and movies. So very inexpensive, and then my mom turned it into a bracelet, which it's very loud, but I will be wearing it probably while I'm teaching, so my students will be very annoyed, but really cool and an inexpensive thing to bring home. They do have collectible books for the pennies too, if you or your children want to just collect a few and then keep them in a cool little book. They had those at a majority of the gift shops in the parks. We were on the Plus dining plan, which you get a snack per day, and because our meals were so huge, we didn't typically end up being hungry for our snacks. So at the end of our trip, we had some snacks that were left over. And at our resort in the food court, which a majority of the Disney resorts have food courts, we just stockpiled on some snacks to bring home with us so that we could keep them as souvenirs and use our credits. So these were free to us because we had already paid for them. The Goofy Candy Company snacks were included as a snack in the dining plan, so we were able to purchase some of these and bring them home with us. We got some sprees and then the gummies, which I've ate most of, but again, inexpensive, and it was included in our dining plan, so we had already purchased them. The rest of my items I purchased for my own personal collection, but that gives you an idea of some of the things that you may want to think about when looking for things that are inexpensive at Disney parks. Of course, there's stuffed animals and all kinds of things if you have younger kids, but since we had been to Disney so many times, we had, you know, our eyes set on some things that we had never tried before and that were very inexpensive. So remember to look in your resort. Take things that remind you of your trip, even though at that point they may seem minuscule, but when you come back, it may be cool to look back at some of the show times, at some of the events that were happening. So take park maps home, brochures home, any menu or souvenir from your restaurant. The pennies are very inexpensive to collect. Pin trading is free as long as you have pins to trade beforehand. And if you hadn't watched my video before, I recommend getting those pins before you leave because rack pins cost anywhere from $5 to $7 or $8 a piece, and you don't want to end up trading those. You want to trade some of the hidden Mickey lanyards that a lot of the cast members have. So now I'm going to share some of my Disney World haul, some of the things I brought from my own personal use from my Disney trip. Like I said earlier, I am a school teacher, so I did get some school supply type things. I have some Post-its that I'll be using in my classroom, and these were $9.95 at Disney, and they were located in a majority of all of the park gift shops, including my resort gift shop, so it was just easy to do that. Purchase it there. And anytime you do purchase anything at Disney and you're staying on the property, you can ask them to deliver your package to your resort, so you don't have to carry it around with you. Every time I go to Disney, I get new pens that you write with to use in my classroom, and so I have a ton right now, but I was beginning to run out, so I wanted to get some new ones that I'd never got before. So this is the Sorcerer Mickey pin with his hat. This was, oh, I can't remember. I think it was $4.95. Monsters, Inc. is one of my favorite movies, so I got a Sully pin. This was $9.95, and this is a squishy material. It's pretty cool. The monorail, there's like an inside joke with my family. I memorized the Spanish dialogue that went along with the monorail when they closed the doors. And so I got a monorail pin for $9.95. This was at my resort gift shop. I believe I also saw them at Epcot. And the lid's right here. So pretty cheesy, but I love it. And then this was only at my resort because it's an Art of Animation pin, and it is a paintbrush. And this also kind of reminds me of Epic Mickey, so that was another reason why I wanted that. And then the last one is Rapunzel, and her hair wraps around her body, and then the pin end is right there. Kind of heavy, but it's really cool. I have an Ariel one like this where you write out of her fin, and her fin comes off. So those are the pins that I bought on this trip. Like I said, I am a huge monorail nerd, so we found this sign for $12.95 that I'm going to put in my classroom right next to the door, because I have an issue with some kids that think they have to line up to leave at the high school level. No. So please stand clear of the door is actually what they say as they're closing the monorail doors, and then that's when the Spanish dialogue comes in. So it is a saying that many Disney fans know, and I just thought it was really cute, and my main man's on there. And then the rest of my items were Haunted Mansion items. I bought 2 ornaments. This one, which is Mickey Mouse ears, and it's got Madame Leota, the candlestick, and some of the gargoyles with chains on the bottom, and then this is the purple wallpaper from the ride. And then on the back we've got the Haunted Mansion logo, some ghosts, and the clock that has 13 at the top. So this was expensive. I can't remember how much. I think it was $25, $20. And then the other ornament I bought, they had quite a bit of Haunted Mansion merchandise, and if you keep up with Disney news, they are opening a brand new Haunted Mansion store. So I'm going to have to go back. Great. And at Disneyland, they're celebrating their 45th anniversary there. So, little teaser, we may be going to Disneyland this year, so you can follow along with us. And here is Mickey as the cast member during the Haunted Mansion attraction with the candlestick. He's kind of spooky looking. Awesome. I got a new keychain that is a key. It is the Haunted Mansion as well. And then I have a collection of Haunted Mansion pins, so I got some of the rack ones that I had not purchased before. Mickey in the Graveyard. And the pins are designated price by color. Red, green, and blue, I believe, and blue is in the middle. Here's Mickey and Donald in a Doom buggy with the hitchhiking ghost in the back. And then Chip and Dale, it was also a blue, and this moves on it. So thanks for checking out some of the stuff we brought home from our trip. If you stay tuned to our channel, we've got a lot of things we're going to be sharing. We're going to have an Art of Animation review. We're going to show you some images from our dining locations. And then as always, we are open to suggestions. So comment below, let me know what you are wanting to see, or send me a message on Facebook or my email. All of that is down below. Please subscribe because we are going to be posting tons of cool videos. And again, if you are interested in using my planning services, which are free when booking a Disney trip, contact me as well. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all really soon. And enjoy and have a magical rest of your summer. Take care. Bye. And if you are on the Disney dining plan, you are able to get... Go away.